Tough questions, new insights, diverse perspectives. Welcome to Questions of the Day with Fanuel Muindi.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to SAI TV. I'm your host of our show, Questions of the Day. It is a pleasure to host this show. I get to talk to some fantastic leaders who are doing some phenomenal work out there. And today is no exception. We have the executive director and co-founder of the Story Collider. And I know the Story Collider so well. It just does amazing work. And it's an honor to have you here, Erin. Welcome to Questions of the Day.
Oh, thank you so much. It's great to be talking to you.
That's wonderful. Now, I know the Story Collider, but for some of our viewers, they do not know what the Story Collider is. Can you just give us the 411 about what the Story Collider does and what it is?
Sure. We're a 501(c) nonprofit organization. Our mission is to reveal the vibrant role that science plays in all of our lives through the art of personal storytelling. So we do this through 3 different programs. We have live shows throughout the US, Canada, and the UK, where folks, scientists, but also folks from all walks of life get up on stage and they tell 10-minute true personal stories from their lives about how science has affected them in some way. And then we record these shows and we air a selection of these stories on our podcast every Friday. Some of these stories are funny, some of them are very moving, some of them are a combination of the two, and they cover kind of the full scope of science. And the third program where we do this work is our education program, where we run workshops, usually for scientists or other STEM professionals, or we do individual coaching, guest lectures, and things of that nature.
Wonderful. So very busy, if I might add.
Yeah, true.
How are you able to do this? Tell us about the team to execute this.
Well, we have a pretty small staff. Just to kind of facilitate all of this work. And most of our work is done by our freelance producer team. So a lot of these folks are scientists, some of them are science communicators, some of them are comedians or writers or performers, and they're based all throughout the US, Canada, and the UK.
Awesome. Wonderful. And now the big reveal here is that the Story Collider is hiring. Okay. In fact,
Great.
You're hiring for a full-time position. The storytelling, education, and research director. Erin, tell us the genesis of this role. How did you arrive at trying to hire someone for this now?
Yeah, this is a new role. We've had people focused on our education program or our research in sort of part-time capacities in the past, but we thought we would combine those roles into one full-time position. It really made a lot of sense to us. We really want our storytelling coaching and education to be grounded in science. We teach storytelling through the lens of practice, so our practical experience of storytelling, but we also teach it through a research lens, through what is the theory of why storytelling is impactful. So it's really important for us to have that grounding in all of our workshops.
Perfect. So you said you had somebody doing parts of the role, right, up to this point. Now you've consolidated into one. What is allowing you to do this? Is it new funding? Is it a need that has grown and expanded? Tell us more about that side.
Well, our education program has grown a lot in the past few years. We're seeing a lot of increased demand for these types of workshops. I think a lot of scientists, we started Story Collider 13 years ago, and I can tell you the appreciation for science communication, for being able to communicate science with the public is so much more widespread. It's taken so much more seriously now than it used to be when we first started this work. And so I think a lot of scientists, a lot of folks in STEM fields are really realizing we need to learn how to tell better stories. We need to learn how to reach people in this way. So this program has grown so much, we really feel like we should invest in it with this full-time position.
And I'm glad you used the word invest, because it is an investment, right? What is the hope then? Like, what do you hope that the person in this role will be able to do and move Story Collider forward into the future?
Well, we hope that this program can grow even further, and we hope that we can develop our curriculum in ways that meets different needs. Recently, and over the past few years, some research has been done around Story Collider's work that is really interesting about the impact that stories about science have on people, about the impact that telling stories has on people. And we're really interested in kind of seeing how we can expand on that impact a little bit. We've had an NSF-funded collaboration with Boise State University for some years, where they have material science students go through our workshop, learn how to tell a story and share a story with their cohort. And they found that students who go through this, they report afterwards an increased identification with the identity of a material scientist. And that impact is even more pronounced for students who are underrepresented in the material science field. So we're really excited about the impact that stories can have on belonging, of feelings of belonging in STEM. We're excited about the way it can change people's perceptions of who can be a scientist.
I see. And so there's multiple duties that are listed on the job description. For those of you who are listening, you can click below to the description. Is there one part in particular, Erin, that is most important for the role, for example? And I ask this because some people are wondering, ooh, I'm interested. What questions should they be asking themselves, right, as they look at the job description?
That's a great question. And there's a lot of aspects to this role. You've probably noticed this is the nature of a small nonprofit. I'm sure you know everybody has to wear many hats. So we're asking a lot of this position. We're asking for administrative work in terms of managing our education program. We're asking for research strengths, for communication strengths, for curriculum development strengths. So it's really asking a lot. We're looking for a very special person, clearly. I think that something that's very important to think about is, are you the type of person who's really interested in communicating about these ideas and building Story Colliders Network and helping us form partnerships and reach out to new institutions? And I think it's also important to think about, is it administrative work something that you're comfortable doing also? Maybe some of the less sexy side of things, organizing things in our Airtable, making sure our freelancers get contracts to go out on the job. But then also, are you really excited to teach people about storytelling? Are you really curious about storytelling and how it works and why it impacts people the way it does? And is that something that you would be really excited to share? I think maybe that's the most important part.
So multiple things here, right? That someone's thinking, oh my goodness, I don't have all the components, right? How are you prioritizing the distribution of all those skill sets?
Oh, that's a great question. I think there are some things that can be learned if somebody is excited to learn. Say you've never used Airtable before, but you're excited to learn how to use a new tool. I think we would be excited to teach you how to use a new tool. But I think the passion about science storytelling in particular and how it works and really digging into the research behind it and the passion for communicating about that research and really celebrating that with other people in this field, I think maybe that's something that has to come naturally.
Yeah, and I noticed here you said a PhD in a STEM field is desired, right? It's not required.
That's right.
It's desired. And so that's just something for those of you watching to note there. And there's a list of desired things there as well, more broadly. You want to say a few words about that these desired experiences that you have a list of here a little bit, especially on the PhD part?
Yeah, I think, like I said, we're really looking for somebody who's excited about their research and is able to interpret research and communicate it with other folks. But I think you and I both know that doesn't necessarily mean you have a PhD. There are many folks that I've known who work in science communication and other related fields who don't have PhDs but are excellent at communicating these types of things.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, and I think the job description does a good job of just trying to articulate all those components. It is virtual, is that right?
Yeah, we're all remote at Story Collider. We're all scattered all over the place. We do ask for this person to be based in the United States to simplify things for us. And East Coast or that general time zone is helpful, but yeah, we are fully remote.
Yeah, and I can understand that too, being trying to localize things. Now, so Erin, from an organizational point of view, some organizations are thinking, my goodness, you are able to do this right now, right? You got the funding, right? You've got the problem, like, or opportunity, if you will, right? Can you just walk us back to like the decision point that really said, okay, this is why the investment now, like now is the right time, right, to do? And I asked you earlier if there was funding that's allowing you to do this. Is that the case? Can you elaborate there, or is it just internal? This is a need that has to be addressed, and you have to do it.
Well, Story Collider is funded in a few different ways. We have some grant support. We're very grateful to Science Sandbox at the Simons Foundation, to some of our local funders like NISCA and DCLA. But we also bring in a substantial part of our revenue from earned income, which makes us a little bit unique as a nonprofit organization. So this position would be funded through the earned income that our education program brings in. So we're very fortunate in that sense, and we hope we can keep expanding that program.
And that earned income is from the ticket sales, right, to your events and other things, or?
It's mostly from our education program, actually, from corporations and universities and other institutions that hire us to run workshops.
Yeah, and I think the beauty about that is that earned income is almost unrestricted, right?
That's
you
right.
can decide on where in the organization do you want to invest it in. And I think that's an important thing. I keep going back to this. It's an investment, right, for future growth. And Erin, 10 years from now, I mean, Story Collider has been around for 13 years. Let's add another 10, okay? Where are we?
Oh, that's a great question. I think one of the things that I'm really excited about are some of the new directions that our education program is going in. We're developing a higher education curriculum so that we're essentially training the faculty who participate in our workshops in storytelling facilitation, empowering them not just to become storytellers, but to go back into their classrooms and make their students storytellers as well. And so we're hopeful that that can have an exponential impact in terms of how people feel about their relationship to STEM and their identities in STEM. So that's one of the ways that I'm excited about expanding our impact. I'm really hopeful that we can continue to grow our podcast audience, that we can continue to tell stories in new and innovative ways. But I think, yeah, the education program is something that I'm most excited about, and that's why we're investing in it in this way.
Yeah, I think we are here continuing to watch Story Collider to continue to expand its portfolio of work, and it's just amazing to see that. So for those of you who are watching, click down below, click on the role to learn more. For those who are looking to collaborate with you, Erin, I know Story Collider does some wonderful collaborations, right? What should they do? Should they just get in touch with you, or what is the mechanism here?
Yeah, send me an email. If you check out our website, storycollider.org, you can find more information about our education program, our upcoming shows, what it looks like to work with Story Collider on a collaboration show. And you can reach out to me, or you can reach out to anybody on our team.
Wonderful. Now, we can keep talking all day long, but we can't do that, unfortunately. So we're going to have you back soon enough. Erin, this was fantastic. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.